Hey everybody and welcome back. Today we're going to continue working through the NPCs of Stardew Valley. Last time we examined Evelyn, and today we're going to check out Marnie. Oh yes, Marnie. I had a request for Mr. Key, but I'm just not sure how I want to approach him quite yet, so we'll start here. Doesn't mean that you shouldn't give me ideas. I'll do my best to get there. I have a couple things in store, but yeah, let me have them. I think Marnie is one of those characters that kind of galvanizes the fandom. People obviously like her. A simple Google search for just Marnie Stardew shows that people are asking, how old is Marnie? Can you marry her? What does she like? Where does she hang out? But anecdotally, I feel like everyone I talk to or read about is always just kind of like frustrated with her. It seems like no one can ever catch her actually working. I talked a little bit about Marnie in my video on Lewis, and you may want to check the link in the card to watch that one first. But let's take just a little bit deeper look at the animal store owner, I guess. Marnie, like many of the other villagers, is quite nice to you when you arrive. Within the first few days of meeting her, she almost always tells me that we'll be great friends as long as I treat my animals well. Okay. Well, I mean, that makes sense. Marnie runs the only shop in town where you can buy livestock. While Joja is here to ruin Pierre's day, Marnie is pretty insulated from the retailer, so yeah, perhaps it's because, you know, she carries livestock, which would be difficult for Joja to transport or whatever. Or maybe someone in the town is propping up her failing business as a favor. Marnie's shop/home is one of the largest buildings in the valley. She lives in the home with her niece, Jazz, and her nephew, Shane. Oh, Shane. We'll get there, buddy. We'll get there. Each member of the weird little family has their own room, and goodness gracious, this house has stories to tell. Marnie's room obviously has the most important and obvious information. Lewis's shorts show up there. The gold statue of Lewis can show up as well, though it might end up in Lewis's house. There's also his suspenders in her dresser and a little window in the back, which is interesting since we saw in another video that someone named M wanted Lewis to sneak in through the back window at night. But let's actually look at Jazz's room because holy crap, there's a spicy revelation in here. If you check the dollhouse in Jazz's bedroom, you'll notice a cute little scene. Wait, no, not cute, I meant horrific. That's what I meant. The whole family is gathered around the dinner table to eat, but why is Grandpa wedged under the bed? Here are two thoughts I have about what this could be. It's possible that Lewis and Marnie are more honest with Jazz than they are with the rest of the town. You know, I like to imagine this could mean maybe they have dinner together like a family in the making. But what happens when someone knocks on the door and Lewis is sitting at the family dinner table? Well, maybe Lewis runs off to hide in Marnie's room, under the bed perhaps? Or, and I think this is a little more realistic and a little more scarring, Jazz has a nightmare one night and goes to Marnie's room, you know, like kids do, like, oh, can I sleep with you tonight? Sure. As she's waiting at the door for Marnie to answer, because she knocked, because she's a good kid, she hears shuffling from inside the room, maybe a voice she recognizes from somewhere. Marnie opens the door, and they go out to the kitchen to have some warm milk and talk about the nightmare. But Jazz peeks in through the door and sees Lewis hiding in the only place he can, under the bed. Instant trauma. Regardless, the way that Marnie and Lewis are sneaking around obviously has an impact on Jazz's perception and not for the better. I've said it before, but it's just kind of sad that they keep up the game. I blame Lewis personally. You know, Marnie makes the effort to try and bring the relationship public, but yeah, that just doesn't really go anywhere. And what's doubly sad is that Marnie is so fixated on this unachievable relationship with Lewis that she doesn't even consider what other options are available to her. If we talk to Marlin, the guild leader from the Adventurers Guild, during the flower dance, we can learn that he has an eye for Marnie. What a great couple those two could be if only Marnie would give up on Lewis, you know? After all, they're both engaged in livestock breeding, kind of? I mean, Marlin is the one that tells you about the slime breeding, so maybe that's a stretch. But yeah, I mean, it could work, okay? Like I said at the beginning though, most people struggle with Marnie simply because she has difficult hours. Her home is open to visit from 9 to 6 each day, but Marnie only actually mans the store from 9 to 4. Additionally, she takes Mondays off to go shopping at Pierre's, and even though she's back at 1:30, she just stands in front of the microwave for 7.5 hours instead of working. 7.5 hours, yeah. Then she takes Tuesdays off to go to the exercise group, which is also at Pierre's. That means she works about 35 hours a week, which, yeah, good for you. That's awesome. That's healthier than Morris, for sure. But for some reason, it always feels like we run out of hay on a Monday morning in winter, and then our animals are starving while we go to Marnie's, and what do you know? She's staring at the microwave for, say it with me, 7.5 hours. So Marnie's shop is obviously not doing well. She says she needs the money. One of her favorite gifts is diamonds, which I think is just hilarious given the implications on her relationship with Lewis. She won't work even when she's at home, but she also doesn't close the shop that day, so there's no reason we expect to be turned away. You know, it'd be one thing if you couldn't get in. The door's closed, the sign says, you know, nobody's here, but it doesn't. She sneaks her secret lover into her bedroom, but apparently not well enough to keep it from Jazz. I think one last thing that I want to leave you with, though, is Marnie stocks her living room, storage room, hallway, I'm not really sure, with hay, and she lights the fireplace in that same room. Jazz's room is just a doorway, you know, and there's, I guess, a window in there, but no other exit. And Marnie is just one stray little ember away from burning down the whole building. But maybe that's what she wants. Maybe a little insurance money is all she needs to get back on her feet. What do you think about Marnie? Is she just a friendly, down-on-her-luck rancher? Have you ever spent 2 days in the winter with starving animals while she considered burning it all down and starting somewhere without Jazz and Shane? Let me know in the comments below. I'll see you in the next one.